most of American history, owning a home was part of the dream. But today, that dream is slipping further away for millions of people. In 2025, the median home in the U.S. costs over $400,000. That's more than 5 times the median household income. In some cities, it's closer to 10. Back in 1970, the ratio was just 2 to 1. So sure, home prices have gone up, but the real issue, they've gone up way faster than wages. That's part of why homeownership has become such a pressure point in American life. There's a cultural expectation, almost a rite of passage, that you should own a home to quote-unquote make it. It's a symbol of stability, success, adulthood. And for older generations, it paid off. Boomers and Gen Xers bought homes when prices were lower, then watched their values climb for decades. In many cases, that home became their biggest source of wealth. Today, over 2/3 of American household wealth is tied up in housing. So when home prices rise, homeowners cheer. But when they rise too fast, younger people get left behind. That dynamic where rising prices help one group but shut out another is what makes this crisis so complicated. Because housing isn't just shelter. It's a financial asset, a retirement plan, a status symbol, and increasingly a barrier. And whether you rent, own, or dream of either, you're probably feeling it. So what happened? Let's break it down simply. First up is supply and demand. There just aren't enough homes. Right now, the U.S. is short by somewhere between 3 and 6 million housing units. That's a massive gap, and it didn't appear overnight. After the 2008 crash, home building collapsed. A lot of small and mid-sized builders went out of business, and it took years for construction to bounce back. Meanwhile, millennials, the largest generation in U.S. history, hit their prime home buying years. More people wanted homes, fewer were being built, prices soared. But it's not just a construction problem, it's also about what gets built and where. In many cities, local zoning laws only allow single-family homes. That means no duplexes, no triplexes, no small apartment buildings. Even adding a backyard cottage can require hearings, permits, and months of delay. And the people who already live there? They often push back. It's called quote-unquote, not in my backyard, or NIMBYism for short. The result? We're not building enough, especially in the places people actually want to live. Next, interest rates. Most people don't pay cash for a house. They get a mortgage. So interest rates matter. A lot. For decades, mortgage rates were falling. In the 1980s, rates were sky high. But by 2012, they had dropped under 4%. And in 2021, they dipped below 3%. That was a historic low. That long decline made borrowing cheap and helped drive prices up even further. But now that trend has reversed. To fight inflation, the Fed raised rates, and mortgage rates jumped quickly. By 2023, they were over 7%. On a $400,000 home, that can mean paying $1,000 more per month than just a few years earlier. Higher rates make homes less affordable for buyers, and notably, they keep existing owners from selling, because nobody wants to give up a 3% mortgage. This rate lock-in effect freezes the market. Inventory drops, prices stay high, and everyone feels stuck. Now let's talk about starter homes, or really the lack thereof. In the 1970s, the average new home in America was about 1,600 square feet. Today it's over 2,500. So what happened to the small, modest homes people used to start in? They stopped making financial sense to build. Land is more expensive, labor and materials cost more, zoning laws often require large lots, garages, and setbacks, which drive costs up. And the permitting process, it's long, risky, and expensive. So if you're a builder, you focus on higher-end homes where the profit margins are better. That leaves first-time buyers competing for older homes, or renting longer than they want to. And there's one more thing eating into affordability. Even for people who already own a home, insurance and property taxes. Let's start with insurance. In many parts of the country, especially in disaster-prone areas, homeowners insurance has become dramatically more expensive. Wildfires in California, hurricanes in Florida, flooding in Texas, tornadoes in the Midwest. Extreme weather is happening more often, and it's more destructive when it hits. As claims go up, insurers are raising premiums. In some cases, they're pulling out of entire zip codes or even entire states. That leaves homeowners scrambling for coverage and often paying thousands more per year just to stay protected. Then there's property tax. When home values rise, so do tax bills. In some fast-growing areas, property taxes have doubled in just a few years. That's tough for retirees on fixed incomes. It's tough for families who stretch to buy, and it's especially tough for first-time buyers who may not have planned for a steep annual tax bill on top of their mortgage. Even if you bought your home years ago, rising taxes and insurance can chip away at affordability month after month. In some cases, they can be the difference between staying in your home or being forced to move. So when we talk about housing costs, it's not just the sale price or the interest rate, it's also the ongoing costs of owning a home. And they're rising too. What about Wall Street? Are big investors to blame? It's true. Institutional investors have bought up tens of thousands of homes. They turn them into rentals and manage them at scale. But zoom out. Across the country, these investors still only own about 2% of single-family rentals. In some cities like Atlanta or Phoenix, their presence is bigger and more noticeable. And yes, in those places, they can drive up prices by competing with families. Critics say they treat homes like assets, jack up rents, and outbid regular buyers. Defenders say they improve properties, offer long-term rentals, and add supply. Both views have some truth. But here's the bigger point. Wall Street didn't create the shortage. They're just taking advantage of it. And then there's location. Housing affordability varies wildly by city. San Francisco, New York, San Diego, these markets are famously expensive, thanks to limited land, strict zoning, and high demand. Other cities, like Austin, Nashville, and Boise, used to be affordable. Then the pandemic hit. People relocated and prices surged. Some places like Pittsburgh, Cleveland, or Buffalo still have relatively affordable homes, but job growth in many of these markets is slower, and wages can be lower on average, so affordability doesn't always equal accessibility. Still, policy matters, and that brings us to this. So, what could actually help? There's no magic fix, but there are real things we could do right now to make housing more available and more affordable. First, loosen the zoning rules. Let people build duplexes, triplexes, and small apartment buildings in areas that currently only allow single-family homes. It doesn't have to mean skyscrapers, just more flexibility. Next, legalize ADUs. That's short for accessory dwelling units, like backyard cottages, basement apartments, or converted garages. They add housing quietly, without changing a neighborhood's character. Then, speed up permitting. In some cities, it takes months or even years just to get approval. Cut the red tape and you cut the cost. And finally, allow smaller, more affordable homes. That means ending rules that require oversized lots, multiple parking spots, or massive square footage. Let builders meet the market where it actually is. These won't solve the supply problem, but they can help families stay stable while we build more. No single idea will fix the problem overnight, but taken together, they can start to move the needle toward a housing market that works for more people. So, why is housing so expensive? Because we built a system through decades of choices that restricted supply, drove up demand, and made housing a financial asset first, and a basic need second. But if we built the system we have today, we can start building a better one for tomorrow. That's all for this episode. Thanks for tuning into Brain Snacks. Subscribe for more big ideas explained simply.